My story is tied directly to my wife Debbie's story. When we first met, we talked about God a lot, but we really didn't do anything more than just talk. We never really knew him. In March of 1983, some Jehovah's Witnesses came to our door, and we made the mistake of letting them in. We started to study with them every week, and they would show up, and we would always have an assignment that we were supposed to have done. Debbie would be far ahead of them and always ready to discuss the Bible. And she had a lot of questions that they did not have very good answers for. In April of 1983, a big event was planned for our area, the opening of the Tacoma Dome. And the opening session was going to be a Billy Graham crusade. Debbie started talking to me about how much her mom used to love to watch Billy Graham on television. And she asked if we couldn't go. I said, sure, let's go. The evening that we were going to go see Billy Graham, as we walked out the front door, our Jehovah's Witness friends were walking up our steps to see us. They spent the next few minutes feverishly trying to convince us not to go see Mr. Graham. They gave us every excuse that they could think of. We finally politely said, we're leaving now, we'll see you later. We got to the crusade and we were both amazed about how many people were there.
Will he find that you have been
As Mr. Graham spoke, I could tell how much it was affecting Debbie.
I will overturn it, I will overturn it. He will overturn your life right now. This minute, he can change you and make you a new person.
She was really paying a lot of attention, and it was obviously moving her. When it came time for the invitation, she stood up, she turned around and she looked at me, she says, you don't have to come with me, but I have to go forward. And she turned around and walked down the steps to go forward. I immediately ran after her, not because I wanted to go forward too, because I just wanted to be with my wife. After Mr. Graham prayed with those that had gone forward, counselors started to talk to all of the people that were down on the floor. None of the counselors talked to me. It was like I was invisible. On the way out of the Tacoma Dome, she was a different person. She was excited for Jesus. And it was excitement that would never go away. The Billy Graham organization had distributed the names of the people that had gone forward that night. And Debbie's name got to our neighbor who was a pastor, and he came over to see us and asked if we would like to start going to a Bible study at his house. So every Wednesday night we would go over to his house and study the Bible. Those Wednesday evening sessions were the highlight of her week. They were probably the low light of my week. I never had any of the sessions, any of the work done, and I never had my Bible verses memorized. After a while, I started to get a little jealous about how excited she was about Jesus. And I decided that maybe I needed to get Jesus also. And in my wonderful logic, I decided that since she received Jesus at a Billy Graham crusade, that I needed to go to a Billy Graham crusade so I could get Jesus also. I checked Mr. Graham's schedule, and he was going to be doing another crusade in Anchorage, Alaska in just a few weeks. So I bought my airline ticket, made my schedule, and went to Anchorage so I could get Jesus. I remember calling Debbie from a payphone right outside the auditorium where the crusade was being held and telling her that I was all set, that I was going forward that night, that I was going to get Jesus. I could tell in her voice that something was wrong, and she realized that I was there for the wrong reason. Well, I went to the crusade, and when it came time for the invitation, I went forward, and after the prayer, I looked for the counselors and quickly got a hold of one, gave him all of my information, and proudly told him that I had come all the way from Gig Harbor, Washington, so I could get Jesus. The gentleman took all my information, shook my hand and thanked me, and sent me on my way But I think he even knew that I was there for the wrong reason.